I'm delighted to be joined by David Kennedy of Loughmore Castleiney, All-Ireland winner with Tip and county medalist last year with Loughmore Castleiney. David, you've had a brilliant run of it the last 12 months or so, and it's all back again. And once more, it's Kiladangan who you face in the first round of the championship.
Yeah, it's like deja vu, Stephen. I think this is our third year in a row to be playing Kiladangan in the championship. Obviously, we played in the county final there 2 years ago. We played in the first round of last year's championship, and here we are again on a Friday night again in Thurles. It's we're becoming quite familiar with each other as well. So, the games we played against Kiladangan over the last 4 or 5 years have been superb. The standard has always been very high. I think this is our fourth time in 5 or 6 years to play each other. And if I'm right in saying we haven't won one yet, Loughmore haven't beaten Kiladangan yet. But saying that, I think there's only been a point in between for any of those matches. So yeah, the form is good for both clubs going into this game, and it should be a really superb game tonight again.
And David, when you played him in that county final a couple of years ago, it was pure heartbreak for you, but you turned it around, you turned the tables, you got that success last year, winning the double. And this year, you bowed out of the mid and you're missing one of your talisman there, one of the star players for the last few years who was so influential last year in John McGrath. He's a big loss for you.
Oh, John is you couldn't measure the loss that John is, but at the same time, you just have to get on with it. I mean, I was there during the summer in Thurles up in the terrace when John got his injury, and I just knew straight away that this is really, really serious. When you saw his immediate opponent, the clear wing back or corner back, putting his hand up, gesturing for help from the sideline, you knew John was in serious trouble. And it was a devastating blow for John himself personally. That's first and foremost. But the club, it's been a few weeks now, and we've all had time to get our heads around John's injury, and indeed Connolly's injury as well. We've had time to digest it and to prepare for it. And, at the same time, when you have a loss like John and Ed and other players, it creates opportunities for new players to come in and, present themselves and put themselves forward with an opportunity now to put on the red and green jersey and to represent the club and to make their mark on the championship for the 2022 season.
Good stuff. And David, when you're thinking about Kiladangan, I suppose they're missing Willie Connors as well, but they have so many match winners there. It's a really interesting clash again, and a great way to get the season underway. They're really modern day foes for you now at this stage.
Yeah, look, we admire Kiladangan. We have admired them for a long, long time. We look at the base that they've come from. I think what's really impressive about the Kiladangan GA club is the depth that they have created. They have two teams operating in the highest competitions in Senior A and Senior B, and they're able to draw from their Senior B panel and bring him into their Senior A panel. So you mentioned Willie there losing out, but now they're able to bring on new players. See young Amara stepping in now. Like he was a prominent player for them last year in the Seamus O'Riordan competition, and you see him now. He's going to fit into the Dan Breen competition and give him one or two more matches at this level, and he'll become a seasoned player. So that's what we admire about Kiladangan, is that they've created a depth of squad that is probably unparalleled in most clubs in the county. I'd say Thurles Sarsfields are the only other club that would have the quantity of numbers and the quality of numbers as well to compete at both the Dan Breen and in the senior B or senior A. I don't know what the name of the competition is now. There's so many new names after being bandied about. But you know what I mean? They have a big squad and they're able to draw from where they have an injury to a big player. They're able to draw from that depth of talent that they have. So that's the challenge for Loughmore. Obviously, we have injuries and we have lads, for whatever reason, through immigration, career choices. Evan has retired. So now we're trying to fill those gaps. And it's actually, I think it's an exciting time for the club, for Loughmore Castleiney Club. It's an exciting time. You'll see a lot of new names coming onto the team in the next 12 months. We'll have the likes of the McCahey brothers, Paul and Dara, coming onto the club and coming onto the first team. You'll have young Kieran McCormick. He's going to cement a position this year. Young Conor McGrath from the Castleiney into the parish. These are players now that we are looking to in the future to be the basis of a good, strong senior team. and they're probably getting their opportunity a little bit earlier than maybe some lads expected. Or, in my own opinion, they should have got an opportunity maybe earlier to blood them when they're in their 19 or 20 years of age. But the chances come now to fill the gaps left by the likes of John, Kieran Connolly, and Ed Connolly to step in and progress the club as well. So I think in a few years' time, after this year has passed, whatever way the championship season turns out, I think the club will be better for it in the long term.
Great stuff, David. And David, just before we finish up, it's a split season. Tonight is the start of the club element of it. You played inter-county, won in All-Ireland at centre-back for Tipperary. What are your thoughts on the split season, on having the county first and now club?
Oh yeah, look, it's the way to go. I know there's been an awful lot of talk on the likes of RTE and what have you. I hear Donald Logue going on about the loss of the inter-county scene. In my own personal opinion, Stephen, the championship season only starts now. The inter-county scene is a fantastic advertisement for our games. It's a showcase, but it's a showcase for spectators, not for participants. So if you're not an inter-county player from February, you're very inactive. Now you're playing your league games, you're training, you're in the challenge match circuit as such, but there's no bite to it. There's no real function to it. And for now, from the last week of July on for the rest of the year, that's the championship season throughout the country starts. And it'd be interesting to do a head count on how many people will attend games, not just in the County Tipperary over the next 2 or 3 nights, but all over the country. Thousands and thousands of people will go to see games, senior, intermediate, junior, you name it, hurling and football, from Donegal down to Waterford. Tens of thousands of people, thousands of players are going to play. And that is where the real heart of the GAA is. And you can imagine now, I see young lads now that play with Loughmore that are coming into the senior fold. And I sat down with one of them one day and I explained to them that when I was their age, you had no idea when your next match was. You had no idea who would you be playing. We actually didn't know whether we would be playing football or hurling. And you can't predict, like, no organization can survive on that type of ad hoc planning, where it might happen, it might not happen. We might play 2 games this month and nothing now for another 4 or 5 months, depending how Tipperary get on. It's ridiculous. And young lads can't understand that now. And I talked to this young guy, 17 years of age. He couldn't get his head around the idea that you wouldn't know what you were doing next month or the month after. And, the split season is here to stay. And I wouldn't mind what the people up in RTE and all these guys and the media guys say. They're just trying to create and generate headlines, keep themselves relevant. They'd love to be probably extending their Sunday game contracts into September, get a few more weeks of pay packet out of it. But for the rest of us, look, I'm looking forward to tonight's game. I have a season pass. That's one of the perks of having won an All-Ireland medal. You can go to see all these games with a pass. And if I had the time, I'd be going to see Brackenson and Anacarty. I'd be going to see Upper Church and Holy Cross. You got to see all these games. And, they're enjoyable. They're fantastic occasions in their own right. They're local rivalries, the intensity that goes on, and what have you that goes with it, the buzz and excitement of the championship. And we're playing it in the best time of year, July, August, September. Fantastic times for hurling. Stephen and I, you and I played against each other when we were younger. We played out in the rag on dirty, wet February afternoons and November evenings and what have you. And it was just absolute misery. Does nothing to promote the sport. So for me personally, as a family man with children, I can plan my summer activities. There's no surprises. I know when my games are on. I know who I'm playing. Know what is it, hurling or football? Is it junior or senior? What have you? So look, the split season is here to stay. And in 10 years' time, when we look back, we'll think, what absolute craziness possessed us to think that mixing inter-county and club was going to be a success.